McDonald's refused drive-thru service to a blind man at a Louisiana location. Now he is suing the fast food chain. Scott Magee claims that McDonald's violates the American with Disabilities Act by refusing to serve customers at its drive-thru windows who are not in a vehicle. Scott Magee's attorney is with us, Roberto Costales, joining us right now. Roberto, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, Maria, thanks for having me.
Make the case.
Well, you're asking me to do a lot here right now. I mean, I think that the concept of the case is pretty simple. I mean, according to the Americans with Disabilities Act, Mr. Magee is entitled to access McDonald's food at these times.
Right. And what's the pushback? I mean, why would they say, no to him? Because he walked up there, right? Obviously, he's not in a car. Right. And it's a drive-thru. Right.
Well, it's our understanding at this stage, and obviously there's going to be some litigation coming up, and we're going to have a better understanding at that time. But it's our understanding now that McDonald's has a policy prohibiting anyone from walking through the drive-thru, presumably for safety reasons.
Well, couldn't this be a very different lawsuit if McDonald's did allow someone who can't see to be walking through a drive-thru at night, though?
Yeah,
in other words, isn't that a danger to that person?
Yeah, it certainly is, and that's why it's not an alternative for McDonald's. McDonald's is going to need to work with us and Mr. Magee and the class that we seek to represent to come to some common ground and some common solutions to fix the problem. We're not asking for anything elaborate. We're not asking McDonald's to tear down their restaurants. All we're asking is for an iota of accommodation, and we don't think that's a lot to ask from a corporation such as McDonald's.
So what does that mean? What does that mean? What do you want?
Well, we've come up with some ideas, some preliminary ideas, just, kind of spitballing things. Obviously, at later stages in the case, there's probably going to be people more qualified than I am, experts that can come up with some real concrete alternatives. But some of the things that we proposed are a hotline, for instance, that the disabled can call and register with that allows them to place orders and then have McDonald's, deliver them that food at the front door. McDonald's could also retrofit their restaurants with walk-up windows. McDonald's is constantly evolving and changing its architecture in order to make itself more profitable. So why can it not make these small architectural changes that allow millions and millions of blind Americans to access their hamburgers and French fries? And I'll tell you another thing.
But, sir, they can access the food by going in the restaurant. There's nothing that prevents someone with a disability from entering the restaurant.
Right. Well, I'll tell you this, Maria, and I want to make sure that we're clear and we're talking about the same thing and that the record is clear, because since we filed this lawsuit, there's been a lot of disinformation spread by media outlets, and this is not a case about a McDonald's where the inside of the restaurant is open at the same time that the drive-thru is open. This case is about McDonald's restaurants that are only open through the drive-thru. So Mr. Magee cannot go in the restaurant and order. Mr. Magee is totally precluded, 100% unable to access any of McDonald's goods and services. And it's not just him. It's millions of other blind Americans. And it's not just blind Americans. Since we filed this lawsuit, my office has received an incredible deluge of emails and phone calls from disabled people all across the country that are calling us and telling us how happy they are that we filed the lawsuit. These are people that have epilepsy. These are people that are hearing impaired. These are paraplegics.
Wow.
People that also cannot access a McDonald's drive-thru in the late evening hours when McDonald's interiors are closed. So we're very proud to be representing Magee, and we're excited.
All right, Roberto, we'll be watching this case. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks a lot, Maria.
Roberto Costales joining us. Final thoughts.